designing durability through procurement. To introduce me, I am basically a structural engineer, a structural auditor, and a consultant of a building repairs and retrofitting. So we always feel that there is a basic gap between the material which we have designed and the material which is coming to the site. So there is a big gap between the design and execution. So for the bridging this gap, I feel procurement is the most important, or the person who is handling such things into the industry is the most important one. Why? So let's go one by one point. So let's say I have seen the maximum accidents happening in our country or state or city. If you ask me, in every monsoon, you may hear that one of the building partial slab has been collapsed and few numbers of casualties and may lead to the death as well. So when we got appointed by the state government or a local municipal corporation to find out the reason behind it, called as a forensic structural audit, we first observed that the material which were used for the construction was inappropriate. So there may be a under reinforced section, or maybe the structural design was were nice, but like the basic detailing. So let's say we have one esteemed panelist from the cement company as well. Many times, in fact, if I talk about, I've go through, we used to proof check the many development agreements for the redevelopment as well, where in DA, they attached one annexure and in which they written that cement dash the number of brands they used to mention that. So let's say A, B, C, D, E, F. So the developer who is going to redevelop that project has to use the cement of that particular company. So my basic question is where we are going. We need to specify whether the cement will be OPC or PPC. So let's say for the structural purpose, if I'm using it OPC, then we need to mention again the grade, 33 grade, 43 grade, or 53 grade. So I think the detailed description or the specification of work is somewhat we are missing, putting on the paper so that it will be mandate or forceful for the contracting agency, for the developer, or for the person. So the inappropriate material selection or design which is needed while placing the RFQs. I have seen many times, we used to conduct the structural audit. Huh? So I used to receive so many calls. Sir, structural audit करना है, आप quotation भेजेंगे. But what exactly the geometry of the structure is? Building G+1 है कि G+10 है कि G+20 है? Building RCC है कि load bearing है? Building 10,000 square feet की है या 50,000 square feet की है? क्योंकि अगर building RCC होगी, so the number of testing were different. If the building is load bearing, the number of testing is different. The building is composite frame structure, all the steel structure, the testing will be different. Even the size of the building, the number of the points for the testing, if I talk about the random sampling process, so let's say if the building is having only, let's say 40 columns, and I will do only testing for 6 or 9. But the building is having, let's say 300 columns. So my number of points will be more. So while sending them the detailed quotation, we are not preparing the detailed RFQs so that there will be an apple to apple comparison. So far, now at many stages, even the SSR and DSR has having the detailed specification. But again, I always believe there is a big gap between the technical execution and detailed specification. Like in SSR, we don't allow to use the bamboo scaffolding. But if you just turn around the Mumbai area, you will see 70% of the construction is using the bamboo scaffolding for the repairs or retrofitting, whatever you may be saying. Not selecting the material by the cost, but by the durability point. So let's say if I talk simply about the steel. So in construction, if we mandate to use the coated steel instead of normal steel, because in MMR region, you will see there is a rate of corrosion is more as compared to the other areas like Pune or Nasik or Jalgaon or Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, kind of this area. Understand? So procurement will play the big role here, because the one who is handling the project in Mumbai, their specification will be different, and one who is handling at the Jalgaon, his specification is different because of the weather condition. So instead of selecting the cheapest material, let's focus on selecting the right or durable material comparing to the weather or city guidelines, kind of things. About the traditional practices, so like we always used to ask, अगर हमको हमारे घर काम के लिए भी अगर हम लोग जब नॉर्मल सीमेंट परचेस करते हैं या प्लास्टर परचेस करते हैं, देयर वाज अर्लियर टाइम वी यूज्ड टू buy the cement, then sand, then aggregates, and then waterproofing chemicals, and then we advise foreman or worker to mix it properly, generally who never did it, and then apply on our structure. So we have to come a long way along the traditional practice as well. So I always used to advise my client, ये Maggie खाने का ज़माना है. Like we have all the ready mix products. I don't know. Still, there are many people who don't have a belief in such ready mix product. But I always believe in one thing: where there is no hands in the production, there will be the less errors. There will be less malfunctioning. So we need to come after the traditional approach as well. Then the material choice is also an important to reduce the future repairs. See, many people always I used to deliver the various talks in IITs as well and in many social forums as well, where people always talk about having 3 slabs in a month. But my question is, what about the quality of the work? We may achieve the speed. We like I always used to tell my clients, we have already reached to the moon, and probably in next few years, maybe to the Jupiter or maybe the Pluto as well. But can you show me the building who is just 30 years old and having no leakage and no cracks? Show me a single building. I have did a thousands of audit till date in my career, but I have not found a single building in MMR region, especially, he is having 30 years of age and having no leakage and no cracks. So casting 3 slab in a month or maybe a 4 slab in a month and constructing, let's say, 30-floor building RCC frame in a year is not so important if that 30 floors is not going to stand crack free and leakage free for the next 30 years. So speed, quality and cost, we have to find the way between so that we will get all these 3 things again. So we have to adopt the modern material as well. Like we have the caplets now. You just drill the members and you can put inside that caplet. So whenever there will be a corrosion, like whenever there will be an oxidation process, that caplets will like vaporized and that will form the additional anti-corrosive coating to your steel. Understand? So such modern materials also we need to introduce to our budget so that the procurement team will be able to send the RFQs properly. We have to also think about the upfront cost and the final project cost versus life cycle cost. Many times it has been planned that let's shorten or let's reduce the upfront cost and compromise on the life cycle cost. So in this mindset, you may save a good enough money at the beginning. But trust me, after 7 years, you won't believe I am auditing and we are retrofitting the buildings which are just 3 and 4 years old in Borivali and Andheri. Just imagine that a single home, let's say if I talk about the 650 square feet of area, carpet area, which cost, if you talk about the from Borivali to Andheri, and in a normal high-rise building, that not going to cost below 1.75 CR. And just imagine that if someone is spending 1.75 CR And in next 3 year itself or 4 year itself, you find that there is a blistering and peeling of the paint, leakage and cracks. Just imagine, after spending a huge money or so-called financial capital of India, living in the metro city, but we won't be able to assure ourselves that we are going to living the crack-free and leakage-free. So my request to all the stakeholders, especially the one who is into the procurement department. Unfortunately, I have seen the one who is leading the procurement department is not technical background. He's not from the technical background, but more by the financial background. So generally, at many times, they won't understand this seriousness about the durability parameters or the initial cost and life cycle cost as well. So by this platform, I would like to request to all such professionals to please give a thought to use a durable product, maintenance free product, or the products which will match the design life and service life. So the initial cost and life cycle cost is also more important. If you ask me about the structural auditor for the procurement, if I'm sitting at 2026 and I'm telling you till this year, we used to audit G plus 3, G plus 4, G plus 10, G plus 20 building. Probably by the end of 2030, our maximum buildings which are constructed, let's say in year 2001 to 2010, in this decade, the maximum high rise, let's say up to 25 floors, that are coming to the picture. So the role of structural auditor will be more important for the procurement so that this all the materials which are going to come for the retrofitting or the repairs will be durable enough and that are going to add the life of the structure. So I always, uh, I don't want to talk more about the billion or trillion dollar economy, but just want to add a single line that we cannot procure infrastructure as a commodities and expect it to perform as an asset. Designing durability through procurement is no longer optional. Please mind my words. Designing durability through procurement is no longer optional, but it is essential. So this is what the thought on which we can design the durability by the procurement. Few months back, you might have heard the news that we have done the world record of constructing the building in few hours or constructing the longest road few days. Dinesh, we have received the world record as well. But I'm again telling you, India's infrastructure success will not be measured by the kilometers built, but by the decades it will survive. Procurement decisions made today will define whether we repair assets or we regret them by end of 2030 again. So this is what my thought on the designing durability through the